mean, the idea of the mask that we wear. The part of the problem is that we identify with this character that we build up over the years. Like, oh, when I say this, it doesn't go over well. When I do this, it goes over. Like, this is how I should behave in the world. Yeah. It's not like your soul. It's like a veneer that you carry around with. But people identify. They're invested in it. They're like part of it, right? They're like, I am my beliefs. I am all these things. It's like, get some distance between those things, and you'd be like, I was like running around with a story, believing it and letting it like affect my body at a cellular level. And then you're right, it is terrifying. The ego is like, no, I'm real. What are you talking about? You can't shelf me.
All right, guys, James and Justin here, your favorite spiritual analysts on all things culturally relevant, helping you to better connect with this divine yet somewhat peculiar reality we all find ourselves in. I ran across this interesting Jim Carrey video from Absolute Motivation, and it was enlightening. It was really interesting. It's called What It All Means. So I don't know if you've heard this, but I'm sure you've heard that Jim Carrey over the years has gone through kind of like a spiritual journey.
Yep, I've seen lots of different clips. Some of them a little bit more enlightening than others. Some of them you're like, whoa. But some of them, he sounds very like he's speaking a profound truth.
Yeah, so this is kind of shows some of the clips of his career and stuff like that, but it's more important what he's actually saying, I think, in the video. So take a look at it.
And at a certain point, I realized, hey, wait a second, if it's so easy to lose Jim Carrey, who the hell is Jim Carrey?
So you're just passing. We don't matter.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm not looking backward.
Why don't we just...
It was more like you're supposed to say, we're important. And you're supposed to say it's all going to be all right. And you're supposed to say that, whatever you dream can come true. And you're supposed to say all those things. I do believe in manifestation, power of that kind of stuff. But I don't believe that any of it matters. This mattering is to me a human construct born out of a need, just same need as you have to have, deities and things like that. And I believe in an energy of God, an energy of, everything is divine. There's no thing that isn't divine. Everything is divine, and I'm that. And
it's an interesting concept that everything is divine. We had an interview this week with someone, Uma Singh, and part of her thing is she even says a lot that everything is divine,
right?
And that can be hard to get your head around when you've got things that don't seem very divine going on in reality,
like everything. Sometimes I wonder with a concept like that if it has to be a direct experience, or you can kind of prime the pump of your soul by getting imaginative. Like, let me just try to imagine everything is divine. Let me just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I often wonder if that's the springboard for a lot of these things, is using your imagination. Like, let me see if I can see an aura around you or something. By the way, I always thought you always reminded me of Jim Carrey a little bit. A mixture of like...
That his face hair?
Yeah, there's things about him that remind me of you and our brother Christopher Cordell, which go check out his IMDb. Brother-in-law.
It doesn't matter to me what's happening. I'm finding that ultimately the freedom from it is something people are kind of hungry for in a way. Right. They're like, I don't want to be me either.
Right.
And I go, well, look, great, because you never have been. I believe that I had to become a famous, idea and get all the stuff that people dream about and accomplish a bunch of things that
this means, don't you?
That look like success in order to give up my attachment to those things. It's been a part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great when you got a cool car and you got good, nice clothes, and and you've done something that people admire, but it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. You know what I mean? It's not.
I don't know if it like has to be the way that he's talking about. You almost don't want it to be that. You're like, I don't want it to have to be that way.
What way?
Because
I
he's
see
talking
the
about
sticking point with
he's
you.
talking about like acquiring everything. Like because he's someone who like got it all. You know, all the fame and all the material abundance and stuff like that. And this is a typical story. Where, you know, for some, they get to the top of the mountain and they're like, oh, that's not it. Oh, and then they got to like go back to the drawing board.
Are you telling me right now, or am I misunderstanding that?
What I'm saying is you would hope that because some people, they give up on the race. They're like, I'm never getting to the top of the mountain. So they sit in limbo and you don't want to get stuck in limbo.
Well, okay, take it easy for a sec, okay? I'm just saying, like, it sounds to me that you don't want it to be true that material success won't fulfill you. Like you.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
I think that's obvious.
Right.
If you study enough of this stuff, I think that's clear.
Right, but okay, then let me correct it. Is what you're saying that it seems risky to get to some point where you give up on material, on like acquiring as a goal? Because what are you, a freaking wash-up loser then? Like, you don't want to accept some position in life where you don't take life like you're not part of the rat race.
I hear what
you've gotten out of the rat race because that seems crazy in Weirdosville. Like, is that what you're saying?
I don't know if that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I would just think that like what he did is rare. Right?
Yeah.
What he's done is extremely rare.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is like, well, not everyone's going to get to clearly not everyone's going to be able to do what you did to get to whatever understanding you got to.
But he's not the only one.
For the rest of us, we have to stop farther down that road and learn the lesson. Can we learn that lesson without having to go as far as you had to go?
Yes, that is an important question. And I've actually heard, I don't know if it's going to be in this video, but I've heard him say, I wish everybody could see their greatest dreams accomplished so that they could learn that that's not going to fix it either. Like, that's a thing he's said.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. I wish everybody could have their wildest dreams come true so that they learn that that's not going to do it either.
Yeah.
Right? But you know what I mean? I see the issue here because it's a good question. Do you give up? Beware of unearned knowledge, unearned wisdom.
Yeah.
You didn't earn it.
Yeah.
You didn't. But not everybody can be a friggin' Jim Carrey. It's interesting because there's two things. One, have we not learned yet? He's not the only celebrity or success story that says that. Like, fame's not what you think it is, or whatever is not what you think it is. So you better get that straight. But will we have these exceptional people without that lesson needing to be gotten to and achieved? Not everybody's the same. Not everybody wants such lofty things either.
Yeah.
Some people are pretty content with what they have.
Yep, that's true too.
It's not where happiness comes from. And, I dealt with depression, a few years ago, and people still think, well, he's going through, you can tell he's depressed. It's not. I have no depression in my life whatsoever. Literally none. I have sadness and joy and elation and satisfaction.
Sorry, but I gotta say something. When he said that right there, like, people are going, I can tell he's depressed.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Some people think that happiness is, hi, how's it going? Hi. Like, they think that happiness is acting happy.
Yeah.
And some people are like, I am okay. Like, I'm actually okay. And they're like, well, you're weirding me out because you're behaving like an automaton.
Yeah.
That's a tricky one. It's like,
Or acting different from like the persona that you'd set up. All of a sudden you make a dramatic shift in, like, I'm sure with someone like Jim Carrey, they expect him to be away.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's a drastic shift.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's depressed. There's got to be something
there's
wrong.
fucking nothing you can do. Because if you did get some peace and you didn't hold your face like a maniacal, happy Karen or some shit, you know what I mean? If you were just normal and peaceful, people might be like, man, what happened to the bubbly version of you? You're not bubbly anymore. You seem sort of down. Yeah. And you're like, I'm calm as a cucumber. Yeah. But there's also another version where someone get real excited about life and make a bunch of changes because they understand what life's about, and so they make some huge shifts, and they'll be like, he's manic. He's going off the rails. You see what he's done with his life?
Yeah.
So that's how it is with people. people project. They project what they want you to be. Wait a minute, how did you do it? Well, that doesn't line up with what I believe to be true. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, I get that a lot. Sometimes in the comments, we get a whole array of people that like to comment, and it's like, you're ignorant if you don't think the exact. That's literally essentially what you're saying at the bottom of this. You're ignorant and clueless if you don't think the exact same way that I think.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And gratitude beyond belief, but all of it is weather, and it just spins around the planet. It doesn't sit on me long enough to kill me. The happy place is realizing that you're everything, and that there's no real you involved in the first place. It's a weird little semantic jump that you make where it sounds like, well, that's totally fucking threatening, man. I can't not be me. I've built this construct.
And it's just ideas. Right. They're just ideas. The only thing that separates you from an African American or an African Canadian is an idea. And the weather, the adaptation to the climate, and whatever it is. I don't believe in any of it. And so the feeling of wholeness is a different feeling than meanness.
They're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character,
right?
Because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character, so it's, I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern. And then at a certain point you go like, okay, well, that's great. But, it's like the one thing, like people talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just, from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me.
Right.
And you should think of the word of depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play. The great and powerful Oz. I'm the great and powerful.
I'm not looking forward to some of the comments that are going to be like, this is dangerous. What the fuck?
No.
Just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned at one point beliefs. And sometimes I wish that rather than trying to take some lofty goal like Buddhahood, like I'm going to become one with everything, it's like, really give this a try. Really give shelving your beliefs a try. Just for a moment. Stop believing things. If it's a tormenting spirit that's like, everybody hates me or something, shelf that for a sec. Like, try this. Like, what happens if I don't believe that? What happens if, and it could be even good things. It could be like, I love my friends. Even when they're bad to me. All of your beliefs, every belief that you have, even ones that you think are good, try to not have beliefs for a moment. You'd be like, holy crap, I'm carrying the friggin' weight of the world on my shoulders.
Yeah. And also just let yourself become aware of how anxious it does make you feel to let the persona that you've created go.
Whoa, it's going to put up a fight.
Oh yeah, like think about like you've worked your entire life to create this thing. I'm sure there's some people out there it might be easy for them to be like, I'll jump on board.
Yeah, like psychopaths.
Yeah, no, but I think there's some people that maybe they've done some things that they're really not proud of or something like that, which we've all done.
Yeah.
I think for some, but even for that person, I think it would be threatening to be like, it's like I'm letting go.
I shouldn't have said psychopaths. I don't mean that in any nefarious way. I mean the idea of the mask that we wear. The part of the problem is that we identify with this character that we build up over the years. Like, oh, when I say this, it doesn't go over well. When I do this, it goes over. Like, this is how I should behave in the world.
Yeah.
It's not like your soul. It's like a veneer that you carry around with. But people identify. They're invested in it. They're like part of it, right? They're like, I am my beliefs. I am all these things. It's like, get some distance between those things, and you'd be like, I was like running around with a story, believing it and letting it like affect my body at a cellular level. And then you're right, it is terrifying. The ego is like, no, I'm real. What are you talking about? You can't shelf me. And that's why I said the thing about cycles.
Well, another thing too is
like a mask.
You don't probably have to be too scared of it, because you've also probably learned that lesson a few times in your life. If you've ever, been ashamed or fallen down or and been embarrassed, when something didn't work out the way that you set it up to be, and then it all came. Have you ever experienced things crashing down in your life before?
Right.
There's few people who don't have to go through that shame
right.
or that thing, but most of us, we fail. We fall down, and that's a good time to be like, there's actually usually some alleviation in those times in your life, because it's like, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do that thing. I don't have to play that game no more.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because imagine you told a story, and then that story took on a part of its character that's like, I'm real. You know what I mean? Imagine a mask that's job is to act sorrowful in a certain situation, and then it's like it's like your identity is embarrassed. You're taking it so deep into the core of you that it's like it gets difficult to talk about. And again, I don't want to come off as if I'm any kind of a master of this stuff. But let's keep going.
Applause! How dare you come near me? Kind of thing. And you're just the sweaty guy behind the curtain going, it's an amazing metaphor, in that movie.
There it is. Good quote.
I did not know that was going to be in this.
Brethren, what up with the liar? You know what I'm going to do about this?
It's a pretty name, though. It really is nice. It means merciful, right? Clemency.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning.
Nice spiritual video there. I like that. You could watch that a few times. Probably, it's worth pondering, I think, some of those things that he was talking about.
You know what's kind of funny is in this work, one thing I feel like I've come across this idea, and maybe somewhat experienced it. It's like as the ego diminishes, as maybe you're able to do some practices that actually reduce the ego a little bit. It's like not inflamed. It's not like fully neurotic and running around and whatever. As that goes down, it can be supplanted with a spiritual ego. You know what I mean? It can be replaced with this thing that's like, I'm blissed out. I'm getting somewhere. You know what I mean? It's just funny how that position needs to be filled.
Well, guys, we want to know what you have to think about this video. Leave a comment, please, for us. And also, if you did like this reaction, don't forget to hit a like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and everybody, until next time, stay spiritual.